Dinosaur Adventure Land or what? Woo! Okay, we're the folks where God gets the place where God gets the glory for his creation. You can watch us on Rumble, on Genesis Baptist Church on YouTube, also on BIG-DINO, I guess, on YouTube, whatever that is, on Odyssey, a whole bunch of places on, go to drdino.com. Okay, today, Richard Dawkins, Richard Gashmu Dawkins. A lot of people don't know his middle name. Gashmu, I'll talk about that in a minute. By the way, we had a family come visit a couple days ago. Somebody left their Bible, Dylan Davis. If this is yours, call the office, 855-BIG-DINO, extension 1. Talk to the secretary. Okay, tomorrow night I have a debate. Is that on Standing for Truth? Yes. Okay. And then meteor shower Saturday night. Haven't decided yet on the animal for Sunday. And let's see. Rex and Tiffany going to have a wedding next in what, 10 days? 19th. All right. Good, good, good. This next Wednesday is my 700-day anniversary with my wife. We celebrate every day. So, okay, let's see. Right here. Help us stay open for free. Join our 777 Club and go to drdino.com. If you like what we're doing, we're going to win souls whether you help or not, but we're going to sure go do a lot faster if you help us out. So let's see, drdino.com. Make any checks to CSE, Creation Science Evangelism. Okay, well, this is perfect. Rex is not here. I need a couple skilled carpenters to come help for a few days. We have a small crew here that does great, but they're overwhelmed with work to do. I want to add a 8x8 addition on cabin 17 for a bathroom for our newlyweds, Rex and Tiffany, when they get married in 2 weeks. Tiffany came here, got saved, got baptized. Rex has been here for what, a couple of years, 3 years? Yeah, great helper, does all our plumbing, fixes all our wash machines and equipment. Anyway, cabin 17, when we built it, we were real broke and just built a cabin for somebody to stay in. And that's what it's been now for, what, 4 years. It's a great place. Cabin 17, temporary visitors, they could walk across the street to the bathroom or across the road, no big deal. We want to take the back door out and build an 8x8 bathroom right back here, build 3 walls, put cement board on the floor, put the windows in, extend the roof out, put the T111 siding on, and paint it brown. To go on the back right there. This cabin is pretty cool. It overlooks where the pigs live in the lake. What a view. He wants it. He chose, I gave him 4 choices. He said, I want that one right there. Overlook the donkeys and the pigs in the lake. So would you want a bathroom in your honeymoon suite and cottage on your permanent home? If you want to help, do that. They don't know I'm doing this, but Rex has been working here at DAL for quite a while. Tiffany, they both just got saved, and she got saved, baptized this year. They both need expensive dental work done, okay, about $2,000 each from taking drugs years ago. That's a dumb habit. Anyone want to bless them with a wedding gift like that? Contact secretary at drdino.com. I made the appointment to take them next Wednesday to the dentist to get it started. Oh, here they come. Here they come. Okay, skip. All right, tonight, Whack an Atheist Wednesday. Game we play here at Dinosaur Adventure Land based on the whack-a-mole game. The mole sticks their head up, you whack it back down. You guys want to announce your wedding on the YouTube, become world famous? Huh?
Maybe tomorrow.
Tomorrow. She didn't get her hair done. Oh, never mind. Okay. This is the beginning of 40 years you're going to have to put up with that, brother. Oh, my hair's not done. Whack-a-mole, fun, fast. When the mole sticks his head up, whack it back down as fast as you can. Even children can learn to do it, all right? Adults love whack-a-mole. We wait for an atheist to stick their head up, make a silly claim that his evolution religion is true, and then swiftly, sweetly whack him back down with real science and Christian love, of course. We've whacked a lot of atheists. A few have learned to keep their head down. Not many, okay? So some are hard-headed. You got to whack them over and over and over, and I really enjoy it. What do you think about my editing there, brother? Put my picture in over the top. I'm getting pretty good, aren't I? The winner tonight is Richard Gashmu Dawkins. He did a lecture 4 years ago at Duke University on the book that he wrote. He did this lecture all over the place. Okay, I found it all over the internet. I just picked one because somebody said, "Would you do Richard Dawkins on his book, The Greatest Show on Earth?" I got the book here somewhere, but I watched the video of him talking about it. Now, Duke University started in 1838 as a Methodist school, and they taught the Bible, taught their students the Bible. As of today, they got 17,000 students and 600 part-time students. And they are learning stuff from Richard Dawkins about evolution now. Went from a Methodist university. They went downhill a long ways to follow what this guy teaches. Okay. God told a man named Nehemiah in the book of Nehemiah in the Bible to build a wall around Jerusalem. His enemies didn't like that, so they tried to stop him. How can we stop this guy from building this wall? So they sent a man with a letter from a person claiming to be a very important man and said they were building the wall to rebel against the king. A very important man said, you're doing this to rebel. Here's the verse, Nehemiah chapter 6, verse 6. It is written, it is reported among the heathen, and Gashmu saith it, that thou and the Jews think to rebel. Oh, Gashmu said, you're going to rebel. Hey, if Gashmu said it, it's got to be true. This is called the appeal to authority. It's a logical fallacy where a claim is said to be true simply because an authority figure made it. Hey, Gashmu said it, got to be true. Whoa, Richard Dawkins said it, got to be true. We're going to handle that tonight and probably for the next 4 Wednesdays. Okay. Appeal to authority is called a logical fallacy. Richard Dawkins wrote a book about it, so he's an expert. It must be true. Oh, yes, master. Don't beat me, master. Please don't beat me. Got to be true. This is called the bandwagon fallacy. Assert a claim is true because many people believe it. That's what you atheists do on my channel all the time. Well, everybody else believes it. First place, no, they don't. Secondly, it wouldn't matter if they did. That's a logical fallacy, okay? Half of Americans believe in ghosts. It must be real. Must be a good book. It's on the bestseller list. Doesn't mean it's a good book. Lots of people use homeopathy. It must work. Then there's also the fallacy of appeal to tradition. We've always done it that way. Logical fallacy occurs when someone claims that because an action or belief is traditional, must be good or true. Medicine's been used by people since ancient history. Therefore, it must be effective. Oh, okay. Ad hominem, where you attack the man. I get that every day here. Humans are causing climate change. Oh, okay. Scientists are in it for the money. Oh, let's attack ad hominem. Creationists don't know science. These ad hominem attacks are useless. Okay, stop. Dawkins said the peafowl evolved by chance. Actually, the peahen, it's her eye that made the peafowl grow those feathers. Let's watch the lecture and see what he says here. Richard Gashmu Dawkins, Duke University.
Let's try again. Can you hear me? Okay. I don't do that strident stuff that Todd was just doing. I'm the good cop after that. Going to show a proper British reticence. Talking of money, Todd mentioned that the people who are opposed to us have pots of money. Did any of you get handed a free book as you walked in? Where do you think the money comes from? Such planets. But it is an astounding fact that starting from nothing more complicated than rock and sand, the process of evolution by natural selection gave rise to eventually us.
Did you hear what he said? Started with nothing but rock and sand. So when I say you atheists believe you came from a rock, Gashmu says you come from a rock. There he just said it. And it's got to be true. Gashmu saith it.
With big brains capable of understanding the process that brought us into existence.
So Gashmu said we came from a rock, and now we have a brain that's capable of understanding how we came from a rock.
What an amazing privilege that is, to be able, as physical objects, natural objects, to be able to understand our own provenance, to be able to understand why we are here, the long and gradual, extraordinary process that brought us into existence.
Now, Mr. Gashmu Dawkins, if your mind is nothing but a bunch of chemicals that got together by chance over these billions of years, how can you trust your own reasoning processes? Maybe you got a few chemicals in there backwards. You do, by the way.
The process of evolution by natural selection has been called a theory. It's time that we stopped calling it a theory
and call it a religion instead, because that's what it is. It's a religion, but he's going to call it science. Okay.
Called it a fact.
Oh, it's a fact.
It is a fact. It's a fact as secure as any that we know in science.
There you have it. Gashmu said it's a fact. got to be a fact. Go get him, Gashmu.
The fact that you and I are cousins of chimpanzees, slightly more distant cousins of monkeys, slightly more distant cousins, again, of shrews.
Well, Gashmu, you know your family tree better than I do, okay? I am not on that family tree. You may be related to a shrew and a monkey. That I am not, okay? You believe what you want.
More distant cousins, again, of kangaroos, and more distant cousins, again, of fish, and so on. That is a fact.
That is a fact. Gashmu said it, guys. Did you, AJ, you listening? Gashmu said it. It's got to be a fact.
Here it's described as a theory, and this is due to, this is fine, there is a meaning of theory according to which that's correct, but there are two meanings of theory, and in the first chapter of the book, I list two meanings from the Oxford Dictionary. One of them is...
Hey, it's in the Oxford Dictionary. Got to be true. Oxford said it. And Gashmu's going to quote it here.
Theory, a hypothesis proposed as an explanation, hence a mere hypothesis, speculation, conjecture. Now that's the meaning of theory that probably immediately drops into your mind when you hear the phrase, it's only a theory. The other sense of theory from the dictionary is a scheme or system of ideas or statements held as an explanation or account of a group of facts or phenomena, a hypothesis that has been confirmed or established by observation or experiment and is propounded or accepted as accounting for the known facts, a statement of what are held to be the general laws, principles, or causes of something known or observed. And it's that sense of the word theory, according to which it's legitimate to say that evolution is a theory.
Well, then you said it's got to be observed and there are facts supporting it. Would all you atheists out there send me some of those facts and observations? I'm going to show you a couple of them tonight. We're going to have to go through this. This lecture is an hour and 13 minutes long. We're only going to cover about 12 minutes tonight, okay? Show me these facts. I'm going to show you the two that he gives are stupid. Capital S, stupid. Go ahead, Richard. Gashmu.
In the ordinary language use, we should all describe evolution as a fact.
You should, we should. I'm not going to. I'm going to call it a religion till I die, and they're going to carve it on my tombstone. Evolution is a religion, something you believe in. There's not no scientific facts to support it at all.
Well-established fact.
The
evidence for it is the subject of the book that I'm talking about today.
Yeah, he's going to give evidence for evolution. I've been looking for that for a long time. Go get him, Gashmu. Let's hear it.
The greatest show on earth. I'm going to go through it chapter by chapter, speaking a little bit about each chapter, and in a few cases, reading a paragraph or two from the chapter concerned. Chapter 1, partly dealing with the question of only a theory, and partly dealing with the rather disquieting fact that some 40% or more of the American population do not accept this fact, and moreover...
So 60% do accept it, therefore, argument from appeal to authority. This thing is full of logical fallacies. You ought to know that, Richard. Come on.
Believe that the entire world, the entire universe, indeed, is less than 10,000 years old. That is not a trivial error.
It's not an error at all, Gashmu. It's, I would call it a fact. And I've been covering that on my seminar here the last, 15 times. There's a lot of facts that show the Earth cannot be billions of years old. Well, I'll let him hang himself here in a minute.
I introduce the analogy of a detective coming upon the scene of a crime after it's been committed and therefore unable to be an eyewitness. That's the position we're in with evolution, because most of it, almost all of it, happened before we were born, and therefore, obviously, we cannot expect to be eyewitnesses of most of the process of evolution.
Well then, Gashmu, look up the definition of science in your Oxford Dictionary. Science is what we can experiment, test, study, demonstrate. We can't observe it. You have to observe it. What do we see? What do we know? You don't know you came from a rock. You don't know that. You think that. You believe that. You've convinced yourself of that. And you're related to a peacock and a shrew. You've convinced yourself of that. That's not observable. It's not science.
We are detectives who come upon the scene after it's happened. And like a detective in a murder story, we are presented with large numbers of clues, fingerprints, bloodstains, etc. The equivalent of fingerprints, you might say, is DNA fingerprints, and very rich they are. The equivalent of footprints, you might say, are fossils. And there are all sorts of other clues which add up massively, hugely, totally convincingly to the conclusion that evolution is a fact.
Gashmu said it. Evolution's a fact.
The second chapter, Dogs, Cows, and Cabbages, is about domestication, the domestication of cows, dogs, cabbages, turnips, all sorts of domestic animals and plants, whether for pets, whether for agriculture, whatever it is. This shows the power of selection to wreak evolutionary change. In this case, it's artificial selection. The human eye chooses which individuals shall breed and which individuals shall not breed. And by systematically, generation after generation, choosing some for breeding and some for not breeding, we can steer evolution and steer it so comprehensively that we can change a wolf into a Pekingese, or a boxer, or a Whippet, or a St. Bernard, or a poodle.
By the way, they're all still in the dog kind. Gashmu, keep going.
In a matter of centuries, mere centuries. Well, if that sort of change can be accomplished in mere centuries, just think what could be accomplished in millions of years, tens of millions of years, hundreds of millions of years.
See, just imagine. Imagine. We see the wolf and the chihuahua have a common ancestor, so just imagine that they all came from a rock. Just imagine. Over billions of years, of course. Okay, I'm sorry, Gashmu. I keep interrupting. Go ahead.
When you think of it like that, it's not at all surprising that we are descended from fish, we are descended from that. Chapter 3, the primrose path to macroevolution, is a seduction. I'm trying to take the reader by the hand and lead from artificial selection, which everybody understands, and Darwin knew that, and it was well understood before Darwin came along, to natural selection, where there is no selector, no breeder. And it was Darwin's great insight to see that you don't need a breeder, you don't need a selector. Survival.
Oh, Darwin is another Gashmu, by the way. If Darwin said it, got to be true. There's a bunch of Gashmus out there. Hey, Gashmu saith it.
We'll do it for you. And my primrose path takes us through gentle steps. The seduction is a gentle one. We start with peahens choosing peacocks. This is not survival of the fittest, this is reproduction of the fittest. Because peahens have certain tastes in peacocks, it follows that genes for meeting those preferences of females in peacocks are the ones that get passed on to future generations. And the result of this is the spectacular, extravagantly beautiful plumage of a peacock or a bird of paradise. It's an eye that's doing the selection, but it's not a human eye that's doing the selection. And there's no reason to suppose that it's deliberate. It might be deliberate, but there's no reason to suppose that it is. It's enough to say that female brains, female nervous systems have certain tastes, and these tastes are reflected in the choice of which males get to breed, and that is reflected in the future evolution of the male plumage.
So, the female peacock, her eye, she looked over all the male peacocks out there and said, I'll take that one to be the daddy of my egg. And Gashmu said, that's how the peacock developed, from a rock. Well, it wasn't quite a rock. It long ago was a rock. Okay, now it's a bird. But the peahen made it grow them big feathers. Yeah, I'll show you.
So the first step in the primrose path is to say, yes, it's still an eye that's doing the selecting, but it's no longer a human eye. And then we go to...
Well, before we go to anything else, Gashmu, let me just show a few of my slides here. Okay. There are 225 varieties of peafowls, okay? Peacocks do not lay eggs. The peahen lays the eggs, okay? quite a few varieties of peafowl, okay? And this is the peacock, the male. There's an albino one. We need one of these at Dinosaur Adventure Land. Bobby, can you find us one of those? Yeah, there's a green peacock. Now, all of these feathers came from nothing, okay? The peahen caused all this to happen because she wouldn't marry the guy if he didn't have feathers like that. So she actually caused this to happen. So Dawkins wrote a book about it. He's an expert. Must be true. So the peahen's eye for beauty, beautiful, pretty feathers, made the male peacock tail like it is, slowly, over millions of years, of course. See, none of this was designed. Nobody designed any of this. It all just happened because she had an eye for beautiful male feathers. That's the feather up close. All of that came from that rock and sand. I mean, it took a long time. There they are up close. Look at that. Wow. Nobody designed any of that. None of it. All happened by chance. Okay. Gashmu, take it away. Here, let's see.
Let's say an anglerfish. An anglerfish is a rather squat, ugly creature which lives in the bottom of the sea. That's the female. The males are tiny little creatures which live as...
Let me just show you one. I'll talk about anglerfish in a minute here. Right here. Anglerfish. There's an anglerfish. An ugly little fish lives on the bottom. She is huge. The male is hanging on from the two of them there from the bottom. They are real tiny. So he's going to talk about this anglerfish, and it has this cool fishing rod on its head. And she's the one who made him grow, or he this time, the male made her grow that fishing rod on top. And sometimes they light up, and they wiggle them around for bait. And when the other fish gets close, they just open their mouth, and the suction sucks the fish right in. So I'm sorry, it was the eye of the bait that caused it to evolve. Now, how that happened after the bait got swallowed, I don't know. He doesn't say. But the eye of the bait fish, not the bait, the prey fish, the one that got eaten, that's the one. It's the eye of the one that got eaten that made this thing evolve this. Okay. Dashmu, take it away. Okay.
Parasites on the female. So we're concentrating on the female who sits on the bottom of the sea and looks very camouflaged and has a fishing rod sticking out of the top of the head. It's a modified dorsal fin spine, and it, just like a fishing rod, it curls over, and on the end of it is a little wiggling bait, a lure. And small fish, would be prey fish, are lured into the vicinity of the bait, and as they try to nibble at the bait on the end of the fishing rod, the anglerfish's jaws open, and there's a great inrush of water, and it engulfs the prey fish. Now, that bait and that fishing rod has been shaped by selection by the eyes of generations of prey fish.
You went to school and learned that? And you want to teach that at Duke University to other people? That the prey fish, which just got swallowed, his eye made this thing get this lure. Can somebody Google, is there a cure for stupidity? Is there like a vitamin you can take or a hammer?
45 bullet.
Hammer, yeah, okay. Take it away, Gashmu, go ahead.
The ones that, the baits that look most like wriggling worms are the ones that were most successful in luring prey fish, and that's why they were favored. It is the eyes of the prey fish that did the selecting. You would be wrong if you thought they wanted to do the selecting. They didn't want to be eaten, obviously. But nevertheless, this is selection by an eye, not a human eye and not a peahen's eye, selection by an eye. Now we're ready in the seduction to go to the final step and say that any kind of survival will do the trick.
Okay, before we go to the final, any kind. Okay, here is the anglerfish with that lure on his head. There are 210 different species of anglerfishes. All of them were shaped by the eye of what they ate. Now, I know people, they have been shaped by what they ate. Too many pizzas, too many hamburgers, they've been shaped by that, okay? Anglerfish was too. He grew the fishing rod on top of his head. Only the females have a fishing rod. This ranges from short to long, and the bait almost always luminous. I mean, it lights up. Oh yeah, they liked that one better. See, they hollered out from the stomach just before they got digested. Make it light up. Oh, good idea. Thank you, thank you. Okay. From simple to ornate. In some species, there are also luminous organs. Whoa. So Richard says the eye of the prey that just got eaten teaches the anglerfish how to evolve this complex lure. I suggest everyone be very careful before believing anything this man says, okay? But Gashmu Dawkins said it, and it must be true. He wrote a book about it. I mean, it's got to be true. He's a published author. Hello. Got to be true. Gashmu said it. So the anglerfish's last meal's eye for pretty lights and wiggly bait make the female anglerfish develop the cool lure, slowly, over millions of years, of course. By the way, whoever suggested I do this, thank you. I'm appreciating Mr. Gashmu Dawkins. All right, let's see. Hate to let him talk anymore. He's making a fool of himself, but okay.
The anglerfish that has the best bait, the best lure, is the one that survives because it's the least likely to starve. But anything that increases the likelihood of survival, however obscurely wrapped up inside the animal it may be, however invisible to not only our eyes but to any other creature's eyes it may be, survival itself is all it takes to determine the non-random survival of genes that may be desirable characteristic. And so as the generations go by, the number of genes that are successful in building bodies that are good at surviving, those genes are the ones that do survive, by definition almost tautologically. Those genes that are good at building bodies that survive are the ones that we see in gene pools, in species, all over the world. And that is natural selection. And it follows so beautifully, so elegantly from artificial selection, which long before Darwin, farmers, gardeners, dog breeders, pigeon fanciers, etc., understood. Nobody, or hardly anybody before the mid-19th century, made that really quite easy step. You've only got to go towards removing the human eye and substituting just plain survival, just naked survival. That will do the trick. And that is natural selection.
Okay, Gashmu, hold up right there for a minute. Let me just talk about this natural selection, folks. All right. Natural selection is taught in every biology book I have here, I think. They teach it. This is some kind of selective force. This is some kind of creative force. Natural selection, read my lips here, selects from what's already available. If I was going to select an item off the top of my desk, I probably could not select an elephant, could I? Anybody see an elephant here? No. See, natural selection can only select, but they want to give it a creative process. How natural selection causes evolution? No, no, no. Natural selection prevents evolution. Creationists have no argument with natural selection. We thought of it first. It's a conservative process that removes defective organisms and keeps the species strong. Doesn't create anything. It's a selection process. Natural selection may have a stabilizing effect. It does not promote speciation. It is not a creative force, as many people have suggested. How is natural selection going to create anything? It's not. Natural selection can only act on properties that already exist. It cannot create properties in order to meet adaptational needs. Evolution in action. Oh, really? Finches with larger and stronger beaks were better able to open the tough pods. Evolution by natural selection had occurred in just 1 year. No, guys, it started off with a beak, it ended up with a beak. It didn't create anything. Over a long period of time, natural selection can lead to evolution. This is one of the lies in the textbooks. See, if you worked in a factory that made cars, and you work in the quality control section, and the car comes down the assembly line after it's all been put together, you check it over, slam the doors, kick the tires, raise the hood, start the motor, and you rejected every one that had a defect. You select the good ones to go through, the rest of them don't go through. How long would it take that process to change the car to an airplane? That's what you're claiming, Gashmu. We all agree there's a great range in sizes of dogs. Question, is there a limit? Breeders have been selecting bigger dogs, trying to get bigger dogs. Some people want to buy them, okay? And they've been getting smaller dogs. Do you think they'll ever get a dog 5 miles tall? Do you think that'll ever happen? How about half-inch tall? You think they'll ever get a half-inch tall? That's a big dog. That's a big dog. Thousands of dog breeders for a long time have been trying to get smaller dogs because people pay money for them. None of these tiny dogs would survive in the woods. How long would that Chihuahua last out there in the woods?
30 seconds.
The squirrels would eat it, okay? And you may get a big dog or a little dog, but wait, read my lips, Gashmu. It's still a dog. Every time it's a dog. You're claiming that process is going to make the dog come from an amoeba over billions of years? You're insane. I think the dogs probably have a family tree, and it goes back to a dog, maybe the wolf. All the dogs, the coyotes, and the wolf genes can be analyzed and show they have a common ancestor. No argument out of me, okay? That does not prove dogs, let's see, and humans and birds and frogs and sunflowers and jellyfish have a common ancestor. Is that what this chart teaches the kids in school? Because we see varieties of dogs and wolves, therefore, dogs are related to jellyfish? You call that science? Which one is not like the others, boys and girls? A 4-year-old can tell you it's a banana. But Gashmu Dawkins said, he's an expert now, he wrote a book on it. All the dogs are descended from an amoeba, which came from a dot of nothing exploding millions of years ago, where we can't see it or test it, of course. So you have to believe it, because Gashmu said it. World's biggest bull, 3,800 pounds. Whew. Cattle farmers have been breeding to try to get bigger cows since Noah got off the ark. Many large breeds of cows have been artificially selected by man. Natural selection wouldn't produce near as many as artificial selection has produced. Man has tried to get bigger cows, more milk, more beef, whatever. I just found out my sign I've got up there, Bobby, is wrong. There's a new world record for milk production. They have a cow in, let's see, Brazil that gave in 24 hours 281 pounds of milk, 32 gallons of milk in one day. Utterly ridiculous. That's a lot of milk. Do you think there's a limit how much milk a cow can give? Do you think a cow will ever give 2,000 pounds of milk in a day? The whales do it to their babies. Why can't? Is there a limit for cows? Yeah. Do you think a Chihuahua is ever going to give 500 pounds of milk in one day to its puppies? No. You guys don't get it. Yes, there are variations, but there are limits. Let's see. 20-inch tall cow. That's the world's smallest cow. We all agree there's a range in cow size from 20 inches to 80 inches tall. No question. There's a limit. We agree. Is there a limit? You atheists will never, you won't even answer my question if there's a limit. You'll go on to something else. Will they ever get a cow 2 inches tall or 5 miles tall? Man has selectively bred cows to get 450 breeds of cows over 4,400 years since Noah got off the ark. All those cows probably had a common ancestor. That does not prove that cows are related to humans and birds and frogs and sunflowers and jellyfish. But Gashmu said it's true. Got to be true. Even National Geographic ran an article that the dogs came from wolves. I would agree. God said they bring forth after their kind. See, variations happen, but they have limits. Farmers have been trying to get bigger pigs for a long time. They'll never get a pig as big as Texas. Roaches become resistant to pesticides. Still a roach. They're never going to become resistant to a sledgehammer. Never. I'd bet you $5 on that. They always produce the same kind. Always the same kind. Information for that variety was already in the gene pool. Cows already gave milk. They selected more milk. No new information was added. The dog didn't become pink or learn to fly. The gene pool of the new variety is always more limited than before. Chihuahuas cannot produce Great Danes. You have lost stuff out of the Chihuahua gene code. You might end up crossbreeding Chihuahuas trying to get a bigger Chihuahua, but I bet you've limited it down now where you're probably not going to get back to a Great Dane. And how long would the Chihuahuas last out there? Go ahead. Make my day. Bark at me one more time, Pipsqueak. You're done, okay? Genetic information is lost, not added. Real evolution would require an increase in genetic complexity, not just shifting the genes around. I grew up in Illinois, corn country. They got so many kinds of corn, they have to number them. You're driving down the road, it says, don't mix BX65 with XL47. Oh man, something will blow up. Okay, but you're never going to get a hamster or a tomato or a whale to grow on your corn stalk. Never. And the varieties of dogs we have probably have a common ancestor. A dog or a wolf or a coyote. This Irish textbook calls it divergent evolution. Giving it a fancy name doesn't make it true. It's still in the dog kind. There's horses that are variety. They've got little bitty horses, miniature horses. We had one visit Dinosaur Adventure Land, 4.5 years old. Maybe the zebra, the horse, and the quagga all had a common ancestor. I wouldn't argue about that. But Gashmu, you don't get it. You purposely don't get it. You don't want this book to be true, do you? See, if this book is true, it says you're going to hell because you've never trusted Christ as your Savior. You don't like that. You don't want to say God created the world because that would mean he owns it and he could make the rules. Yeah. And he's going to, and he did, and he made it, and he made the rules, and he's going to judge you by those rules, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not. It's coming. So, what do we make it to? 12 minutes and 52 seconds. Let me see. One more second here.
That is the dominant force in evolution, at least the dominant force for producing adaptive evolution.
So the dominant force is natural selection. Well, you just failed. Okay, in 13 minutes, you didn't give any evidence at all for evolution. We'll take up some more next time we whack an atheist. Mr. Dawkins, Gashmu, look, you don't know this and you're not going to believe what I'm about to say. But I'm the best friend you've got. By exposing how stupid your religion is and calling on you, would you please knock it off, give your heart to the Lord before you die. Let's see, born in 1941, I think the sign said. So that's 60, 82 years old. You don't have much more time, Gashmu. I would suggest you call 855-BIG-DINO extension 3. I'll lead you to the Lord over the phone. You need to give your heart to the Lord. Is it going to be possible to undo all the damage you've done to Duke University students and other students over the years? I don't know. You better try, though. You better try. You're leading many to doubt God's word. You're leading them to not trust Christ as their Savior. You're in trouble judgment day. I'm trying to warn you. Traffic's out ahead. Stop. Bridge is out. Okay. All right. Any questions or comments? Creation crybaby comment? Hey, there we go. Can you follow on the comment on the Dawkins quote? We cannot, of course, disprove God, just as we can't disprove Thor, fairies, leprechauns, and flying spaghetti monsters. Well, that's true. That's not saying you can prove evolution, though. That's what you're trying to not say, isn't it, crybaby? Go ahead. Samuel, you recommend the video series The Chosen. Do you have any other series or movie? I've only seen about all The Chosen they've done. I liked it so far. I'd have to disagree with a few little things. But all in all, very good. Okay. Best video series is probably mine. We have, let's see, Creation That Destroys Evolution, A through D. My debates are a lot of fun. I do those. Big Bang, Big Lie. Get all these. Flash up all these codes, brother. Boot Camp that we had just a few months ago here. You got them all? Look at that. There is Big Bang, Big Lie. Look at that. Creation That Destroys Evolution. That was a fun series. I'm going to have to go back and redo all the letter L ones. We couldn't find them, right? When they took down our YouTube channel, they didn't give us all the videos we had on there. We've been trying to rebuild. What is that one? Boot Camp and my seminar series. Okay. Good. And Whoa series. What on earth is about to happen? We are in trouble, folks. Do you have the Why series one there?
No.
This is amazing, brother. I can't.
We have to sit through an infomercial one day.
Infomercial. Okay. Oh, any other questions? Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you agree with Jason Lyle and his views on anastrophic synchrony convention? I never saw that, which deals with the one-way speed of light being a logical explanation. I cover on my video number 4, my explanation. We can only measure the speed of light. I think the speed of light, seminar part 4, we see the starlight coming toward us. That's a whole other, we're over time. That's too long. We'll do another, but watch my video number 7, where I talk about how did the light from the stars get here? Question, answer. DVD number 7 in the Creation Seminar series. Or it's a number 7 lie. That's number 4 lies in the textbooks. Okay. So I don't know what he teaches on that. He's a smart man. He generally is creationist, but I don't know if I agree with him on what, I don't know what he says. Okay. Let's see. Have you ever heard about the question mark found in
Deep space. Apparently there's a question mark out there.
Oh, I've heard about that, the shape of the stars or something, or yeah, question mark. I don't know. Dawkins, like Hitchens, hates the God of the Bible because they both have daddy issues. I don't know what his history was with his daddy. I don't know. We don't need evidence. We know it's true. Gashmu, Dawkins. Amen. I like that. Have you read The Selfish Gene? I have not. I've heard about it. That's one of the books he wrote too, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, he's written quite a few books. But I will tear it apart if you'd like me to. Okay. Out of the 10 Commandments, why is only one of them for the Jews? What?
Sure, it's all about the Sabbath.
Well, I cover my thoughts on the Sabbath. It was for the Jews. All the 10 Commandments were given to the Jews to spread around. And then I cover very carefully on video 7 why that changed. No, the Sabbath was a day of rest, the day of worship. After Jesus resurrected from the dead on the first day of the week, they came to meet on the first day of the week. They brought their tithes and offerings on the first day of the week. That's the day the church met. The Sabbath was a day of rest. You can't go out of your house. You can't kindle a fire. How can you leave your house and start your car and kindle a fire in every cylinder and drive to a Sabbath church and think you're spiritual? Read the commandments about the Sabbath. None of you keep it. Nobody keeps it. It says you can't work and you can't make anybody else work. You use any utilities on the Sabbath day? You turn the water on, turn the electric on? Huh? I've never met a single person that keeps it. But they like to think they're spiritual because they keep, part of it. Okay. How do you respond to human genome and junk DNA? They say proves human evolution. Well, if there's junk DNA, if there is any junk DNA, it doesn't prove evolution. I've got things on my car that don't work anymore. That proves nobody made it. Did you know the seatbelt retractor on that truck we got doesn't work? That proves nobody made that truck. Oh, brother. Let's see. Kent, we appreciate what you do. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate that. Okay, come on down, visit Dinosaur Adventure Land, way over time. Gashmu, get ready. I'm going to whack you. And if you don't like it, listen to me. I'll debate you anytime on my channel, Standing for Truth, on your channel. Equal time, no interrupting, one topic at a time. Give somebody a call. Pick a channel that'll have us on, have a debate, you and all the other atheists in the world. You don't have a accredited degree. Well, then I should be easy to whip, shouldn't I? Bring it on. Come on. All right, see you tomorrow. Bye.